Hi, everyone. Welcome to our session. So today is the fourth session on the karmic balance sheet. So today what we thought is we will have some sort of group discussion because, we've been talking for a while. So we thought it'd be nice to get your perspectives as well and also understand what are the things that all of us are dealing with as a group. Okay, so we'll do that today. So with that, let's start with the invocation. Let's close our eyes, connect the tongue to the palate, inhale and exhale. Let us invoke to the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother. We thank you for your priceless blessings, for divine light, divine love, divine guidance, divine love, mercy, inner healing, physical healing. Thank you for the inner strength to practice regularly. Thank you for your divine help and protection, for illumination, abundance, and prosperity. We thank you. Let's close our eyes. Let's do the soul affirmation. I am that I am. I am not the body. I am not the emotions. I am not the thoughts. I am the soul. I am a spiritual being of divine intelligence, divine love, and divine power. I am one with my higher soul. I am that I am. I am one with the divine spark within me. I am a child of God. I am connected with God. I am one with God. And I am one with all. Let's take a deep breath. Let's be aware of the energies flowing through us. So, like we said, today we'll have a group discussion. And so let's start. We have made it possible for everyone to unmute themselves. So, if you have any comments that you want to make about karmic balance sheet, about the talk that we've been having, or if you have any questions, then you can just post it on the chat, or you can turn on your videos or your audios. So, just waiting for a few seconds. Okay. So let me just provide an introduction. So one of the things that we need to be aware of is when we think of our karmic balance sheet. So we need to be aware that we are ultimately the collection of thoughts, emotions, and energy, right? So whatever is our karmic balance sheet, it's basically is the net total of all of that. Now, once we had attended a session by Kamalika Bhattacharjee, and I remember she said that everything that we have is also ultimately recycled, right? And that was an interesting thought because so far we think of, this being mine, like this body being mine, or this idea being mine, or this thought being mine. But the point is that none of it is really ours, in the sense that when we incarnate, right, we when we start to plan our birth, so to say, then it's the emotional matter, the mental matter, and ultimately, obviously, the physical matter through our parents that actually comes together and forms this human body, right? So, our thoughts and our emotions, yes, the pattern is influenced by our parents, but actually, it is our own karmic balance sheet that is being manifested, right? So, the matter, so to say, the emotional matter and the mental matter actually just belongs to the universe. So if you read books by Arthur Powell, which is called The Etheric Double, The Astral Body, Mental Body, and Causal Body, then we realize that nothing really is ours, not even our thoughts, not even our emotions, right? So, in that sense, why are we going through this whole process? So, our task, if you look at it a little differently, would be to take the matter of the planet, to pass it through our body, in through all our bodies, and in the process we, the soul, evolve, and that matter also changes, right? So as we change, the matter that is forming our thoughts, emotions, and our body also is also going through a change. So what this does is it just makes us aware of, in some sense, our responsibility towards ourselves and towards the planet and towards the world, right? So once again, if you just zoom out, right, if you zoom out into, let's say, our body, and then into the city, and then out into this country, the planet, the solar system, the galaxy, the universe, if you look at it from a universal point of view, how small is the planet Earth? Like really small, And how small are we on the planet Earth? Like, like really, really small, right? But in that small cell, that is us, is the power to change so many things, to evolve, right? Just like in our body. Okay, so we read books by Master Chokok Sui. He talks about how, for example, small changes in the hormones of the body can completely change the physical, the emotional, and the mental state of the body, right? So if our hormones, let's say for example the thyroid hormone, or let's say some hormones from the pituitary gland, or let's say in females, the estrogen or the progesterone, in males the testosterone, if any of these are a little bit out of range, that creates such a huge impact on the whole body, does it not? So when a small hormone, which is kind of like something that attaches itself to the receptor of a nerve or to a body or to an organ, I don't know exactly how the system works, but I know that a small hormone can affect the entire system. Similarly, just like that, we also, if we do things in harmony, in cooperation with everyone and everything, then we can also affect, all the way up to, the universal God, so to say. So we are part of the universal God. So just like every cell in our body is part of us, and at the same time, that cell is also an independent being, right? In the sense that that cell, what it does affects us, but the cell is not, it's not completely separate from us, so it has its own individuality, and within us we have a lot of cells. So if you can visualize this part, okay, where there are lots of cells in our body and it forms us. Similarly, if we were to use this analogy and extend it to being God or being God-like, it's the same thing, right? We are all little cells in the body of a God. That's how we are God. Get that said, can we as individuals make a difference to this entity that we call, I'm just calling this entity God, but you can call it the supreme being, you can call it nature, you can call it whatever makes sense to you. The point I'm trying to put across is that every little cell, like let's say for example, God forbid, for people who end up having cancer, it's just that one cell that decides to go crazy, right? That one cell decides to go into rapid, chaotic, unfettered, uncontrolled growth. And when that one cell begins to behave badly, it can destroy an entire organ, an entire body. Yeah? I hope the analogy is making some sense, right? So that one cell, if it starts to go crazy, can destroy the entire human body. Similarly, we also, if we decide to go crazy, unfettered in our greed or unfettered in our desires, or we just decide not to be nice to anybody, we can also create disaster, right? In a family, in a community, or even for ourselves. Okay. So coming back to the point of the karmic balance sheet, everything that we do, everything that we are is a result of us, of our actions. And sometimes, when I hear that, it actually sometimes used to make me feel really sad. It's like, oh my God, is that what I'm made of? Right? It was a little bit stressful. But then, again, Master Chakra says, and I'm not quoting exactly because I don't remember the exact quote, but the sense was that it's easier to create the future than it is to change the past. Right. So let's say, I am whatever it is, my body, my thoughts, my emotions, yada, 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 whatever it is, it's all here. Now, I can't change the past, but I can definitely make the future a little bit better by the way I now behave and the way I now think and the way I do things. And of course, Master Chow Sri has taught us this wonderful tool of Twin Hearts meditation, by which we can bless the earth, everybody on earth, and we can really start to make a difference. And for those of us who have also done pranic healing, I just want to add that when a healer works on us, so we were having this discussion yesterday. I was at a wedding, and medical science has made a lot of progress, and in certain situations we definitely need to use what we call orthodox medicine. So let's say someone's having, god forbid, a heart attack, or any other kind of ailment where a medicine is required, right? So one must go ahead and take that medicine, no doubt about that. The difference, or let's say for example you have an allergy, okay, and you're taking medicines for allergy, that's great. But the point is, every time you take a round, or we take a round of antibiotics, or we take a round of anti-allergy medicine, are we making our body stronger or are we making it weaker? So that medicine will definitely help to reduce the symptoms. And in case you require it, you must go ahead and take it, whatever your medical doctor prescribes. The beauty is that if you also take pranic healing, then every time you have, let's say, an allergic attack, or you have an asthmatic attack, or whatever it is, every time you have an attack, let's say you take healing, you are actually reducing the chance that it's going to happen again. So it's a little bit of a different system, right? In orthodox medicine, every medicine that you take and every round of antibiotics is going to make the body a little bit weaker. But in pranic healing, every time you take a round of pranic healing, your body is actually becoming much stronger, right? Your tendency to get that problem is also going to get reduced very quickly and very, very rapidly, right? So there is a difference there, and that's why we suggest that one should take pranic healing along with medicine, because medicine has a very important role to play. If someone's having a heart attack, like we said, or allergy, sorry, or a fatal allergy attack, then they do need those medicines to help calm down the symptoms, right? But then later on, because when we do pranic healing for somebody, we are not only removing the ailment, we are also removing the emotions attached to it. We are also trying to remove the mental patterns attached to it to the extent possible and karmically permissible, right? So that's what makes pranic healing so powerful. And that to me, again, is a wonderful way of improving our karmic balance sheet, because that's what we're here for. So please do healing. Those of us who are healers, please do healing for yourself. Please do healing for others. Let's try and change the matter in all our bodies and improve all our karmic balance sheets. Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to say. I know it was a slightly long introduction, but now if anybody has any questions or any thoughts, then please go ahead and share. Otherwise, we'll just start with the next session. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, regarding this karmic balance sheet, meaning suppose we from a level of awareness understand that okay, whatever we are going through, uh, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
So whatever we are going through is a result of our own karmas, either in this birth or past birth. But meaning, how long do we keep doing the forgiveness and the blessings, and the situation just doesn't change uh, uh, to the way you want? Of course, what we want is not necessarily what is good for us, but I mean,
How long does
sometimes
it
you
go on
lose
for?
hope.
Yeah.
Sometimes you lose hope on doing the goodness part of it, meaning,
Okay.
I hope you're understanding my question.
I am. I've been through many situations. So yes, I do understand your question. So I would say,
Yeah.
do you know a better way to solve this? Do you feel
Um,
a little lighter when you forgive somebody? Let's just talk about that.
yes,
You
yes,
feel better,
sure.
right? So if you have a better
Definitely, yeah.
solution, then you tell me, because I'm also willing to, we're all open to solutions, right? So yes, I remember when I was asked by my healer to do this, I was like, for how long and how many people do you have to forgive? And I remember she said, Sheetal, it's your karma, not mine. So you decide if you have, and she said the same thing to me. She said, if you have a better way to solve this problem, let us know. We are all listening, right? So, it's like, but the other thing we need to be aware of, if I can just take a few minutes, is that, the lords of karma are not trying to punish us. If we are forgiving, and I remember forgiving a lot of people very mechanically, like, I forgive you. Yeah, right, I forgive you. I mean, it was like that. It's like I would say I forgive you, and then I'd say, yeah, right. It was like not very good, not very effective, in
I
terms of my emotions and my mind being there, but it still worked. So my prescription would be 21 days, 21 times a day. And if you still don't get any result, definitely get back to me. Even if you do it
21
mechanically.
times a day, you're saying?
21 times a day, 21 days. And if you still don't get any result, then you tell me that it hasn't worked. See, this is karma. Just think about it. If it's karma over a lifetime and you wanted to go in like one session of forgiveness, like, you
No,
know,
no, I'm not saying I'm doing this almost since so many years now, but I feel the other person still that meaning that I want to say वो अभी तक वो नरमाई नहीं फील होती है सामने वाले के बिहेवियर में जरा भी मतलब still
no
the
change,
same.
no change at all.
No.
Okay. Okay, I think we have to discuss this offline then. Maybe there are a couple of other things. Have you tried the Salt bath solution.
Which one?
Salt bath. Are you a healer? Have you taken pranic healing?
I have done the basic pranic healing course, but I do not actively practice it.
So I
But
can
I
tell you
do
that,
take salt water bath sometime.
okay, if you start taking salt water bath regularly, then that will make a difference. If you clean the floors of your home regularly with salt water, that will also make a huge difference. Because sometimes what happens, and this is something that we learn in pranic psychic self-defense, is that sometimes the energies get embedded in the, and I'm not trying to scare anybody. These are just because you're mentioning that this is a problem. Sometimes the energies get embedded in like the walls and the floor and things like that. So a really effective way of taking it out of that is to also give them a salt water bath, in the sense that, you know, if you clean the floors and all of that. And one more thing that I'd like to suggest is just reflect on the lesson. What is happening? You know, what I do is like I write down the issues, and I write down what is the lessons that I have to learn from this. Like, what am I not picking up from this situation? Why it's happening again and again? Yeah. So let's try
Okay.
that, and then let's see. It does work. You can also try doing the great invocation, and you can also try healing that person. Just general stress healing. Just
Okay.
yeah. So, but again, the first thing is 21 days, 21 times a day. That's like the first one. That's the first one you
So
should.
21 times a day, what I should do the blessings and forgiveness?
Yes, you should do forgiveness 21 times in a day. You can do it in one session, or you can break it up into, you know, 777 if you find it too much to do 21 at the same time. But that's one of the most beautiful solutions.
And my next, do you have time? Can I take one more
Yeah,
question?
we can take one more question.
Okay. So my next question is ki, suppose this is a return of my karma and that's why I am suppose experiencing what I'm experiencing. But what about the other person? Meaning, is it my karma that is making him or her do what she or he is doing? Or that other person is also building his new karma? I mean, what is it?
Very good question. Very, very good question. This is something that again is coming from Master Chokok Sui's workshops. He says, first thing he says is that, and this is again my understanding. So if I'm making any mistakes, I'm sorry. But my understanding is that firstly, don't worry about the other person. That is their
Hmm.
karma to work out. That's one. The second thing that he talks about a little bit later, once we've actually improved our relationships, is that he says that you have to actually be grateful to the person who's helping you work out your karma, because they're incurring karma in that process. Okay, so if I'm being nasty to you, God forbid, then I am incurring karma of being nasty. So I have to work out that karma at some point. Okay. Now, just to give you a higher end example, not a higher end, but an example that always comes to my mind is, you know, the stories of, let's say, you know, God Krishna on earth or Lord Rama on earth. These are avatars, right? And if you ever read the Mahabharata or the Ramayana, or any other spiritual text, you will see that they also lived by the rules of humanity, and everything that they did to hurt other people, or every time, let's say, you know, Krishna told a lie, so to say, or, you know, hurt somebody, or, you know, like, he also had to work out that karma. Just a small example, you know, he was cursed by Gandhari when he, since he was an instrument in the killing of all the Kauravas, he was cursed by Gandhari that his entire you know, clan would be destroyed just the way hers was, and it happens, right? And it happens, and it is his karma to work out. Now, of course, he has a higher end perspective where he says, yes, that is part of the plan. That is the
Okay.
part of the plan of the gods, that, you know, these particular clans, all of them have to be wiped out because the earth has to be cleansed. Again, there are more details in this if you go into the solar system. So there is a book called The Solar System by Arthur Powell, where not so much the Mahabharata and the Ramayana are covered, but at least you get an understanding of how deep and wide this whole philosophy is. So yes, there comes a point when he says that, in fact, the Buddha says that also, is that you have to be compassionate towards the person. Firstly, you have to be grateful to the person who's helping you learn the lesson. So if they're being nasty to you, they are incurring karma. So you should be grateful to them. Okay. I know that sounds really, really weird. So the first time I heard it, I was like, are you serious? I can barely forgive this person and you're telling me to be thankful. But, you know, these are again higher levels of teaching. And the reason why we're discussing them is just to put things in perspective. So as we grow, the the um, the path becomes different. So don't worry about their karma. Worry about yours for the time being. Once we've sorted out our karma, then we can think about theirs and be thankful to them. And you'll be like, yeah, sure. But yeah, it works. And yes, there comes a point where you actually begin to feel compassionate. I can't say I feel it for everybody who has been not so nice to me, but I do feel it for some people now. So I'm getting there. I'm
Yes.
sure you will too.
Yes, Sheetal ma'am. Yes, I would like to say something.
Sure.
Yes, it's actually I have been attending your sessions since long, when the lockdown started. This I have learned from you and I've worked out. I have worked out number of, things, my relationships with this only by thanking that person. So by just by thanking, I feel, we can.
Okay.
Huh. Just by thanking, we can, just neutralize the karmas. This has really helped me. I'm really grateful to you for this.
Thank you. We can all be grateful to Master Chokok Sui for his absolutely wonderful
Yeah,
and
yeah, really. But you have been instrument rather, helping
thank you.
us out during that time. Also, we were attending. Those were very tough times, but really, you taught us number of things.
Yeah, I mean, I tried. Thank you.
No,
It
you
was fun.
tried, but the way you, just convey the things and your knowledge really helps us a lot. Though we don't get time to, read books and all, but by just by listening to you, really, we are really, it's really helping us.
Great. Okay. So now we will is we'll move on to the next part. Let's be aware. Let's close our eyes and be aware of the fact that all matter in our body is borrowed, belongs to the universe, and we don't want to supply it. And we're going to use it and we're going to leave it in a better state than we found it. Okay, does that make sense? So we got some matter and let's try and improve it when we leave. Let's be aware of our crown, our heart, and our hands. Let's raise our hands in blessing position. That's like this. Let's bless everybody on the planet Earth with a great karmic balance sheet, with good health, good finances, and good relationships. Let's also bless ourselves with the ability to evolve, with the ability to make all the matter that we have received as part of being a human being. When we leave, let us return it and in better quality and better shape. Inhale gently from your crown. Exhale, let's bless ourselves. Let's bless the entire planet with freedom from the coronavirus. Let's bless our homes, workplace. Let's bless our projects, our loved ones, the medical fraternity, nurses, doctors. Okay. So the questions that I'm planning to address are financial healing. Does forgiveness help with that? Second is that does karma come to us if we heal somebody? And the third question is about forgiveness. So we'll cover that now. Okay, so one question was, in terms of financial healing, that if can forgiveness help with financial healing or is it karmic? So the fact is that if we are suffering from financial issues, then it's definitely karmic. But Master Chokoksui says here, the law of forgiveness and the law of mercy supersede the law of karma. So if we are having financial difficulty, it's perhaps because A, we're not finding a job, or B, our business is not doing well, or C, that somebody owes us money. So in all these kind of situations, you can use forgiveness, and you can also bless your clients and your sources of income. So I have found that, repeatedly blessing really, really helps. And also more importantly, like we said, the law of forgiveness and mercy supersedes the law of karma. So that's the technique that you can use again. Okay. Now there's one more question, that if I heal somebody, does the karma come to me? Now I understand that there's been a couple of talks on this, but what I can say is that by personal experience, in my own personal experience, I have found that when I heal somebody, my own health becomes better. So I'm not really sure about this theory on the fact that the karma comes to you if you heal somebody. All I can say is that in my experience, I have found my health to become better. And I'd be really happy if some of the Aratik yogis, practicing Aratik yogis, or others who are actively doing healing for the people, if you can just share your experience on what you've experienced. Like, has life become better after you did pranic healing and started healing other people, or have things deteriorated? So if there's anyone who'd like to just share their thoughts, I would be grateful for that. So someone is saying, I never fall sick. Once I start healing, I have never fallen sick. I think I have a similar experience personally. I mean, not never fallen sick, but yeah, the amount of sickness in my family has really gone down since I started doing healing. So one more thing that I think I mentioned before also is that most of the people that I know who are working with us in our center, there's Kunal, there's Debapriya, Priya, couple of other people who are not so much, visible, but they're there. I think for most of us, our life has improved, and the more we take up healing and the more difficult healings that we take up, we have found our health to improve. So all I would say is, why don't you validate that instead of just, I'm sure whoever's saying it has some reason to say it, but why don't you validate for yourself by trying? Okay, so heal other people, see what happens, and then decide for yourself. Because again, this is the school of Master Choco Sui, and we believe in validation by experience. So don't believe me, don't believe anybody else. Try it for yourself. Build your own discretion.